United States and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, Janet, if you could do roll call. Mrs. Boyce? Here. Mr. Bova?
Here.
Mrs. Burns?
Here.
Mrs. Delaney? Here. Mrs. McBride? Here. Mrs. Monka?
Here.
Mr. Ritter?
Here.
Dr. Singh? Mrs. Warning? Here. All righty. Oh, there you go. Sorry, I had to use
All right. All right. So this is our first board meeting for the year, January 22nd. Welcome, everyone. Bear with me again. It's my first time running this meeting from beginning to the end. We had executive on January the 6th, right after our board retreat, and we also had executive prior to the meeting today. So we have a presentation from the Eagle Scouts. So you wanna, is it Keegan?
Yes.
All right, Keegan, you got the mic. And we can hit the lights so we can, or do you have a presentation? Oh, okay. Okay,
He gave everybody.
okay, thank you.
Good evening. I'm King Parody. I'm in 9th grade. I participate in the esports team and in the student tech department. Outside of school, I volunteer with the food pantry, and I'm currently an Eagle Scout candidate from Troop 220, located in Pitcairn. For the past year, I volunteered weekly with the food pantry team. As you're aware, the pantry provides in excess of 150 meals through the backpack program and provides both perishable and non-perishable food for over 650 families in our Gateway community during the monthly food distribution. What brings me in front of you today, while working at the pantry, I noticed that the area was always cramped and disorganized. This disorganization has increased the amount of time spent filling backpacks and caring for our Gateway families. So, for my Eagle Scout project, I'm planning on building and installing shelving units within the pantry room. These shelves will increase the team's ability to properly sort and store 3 to 4 times as much food. After the shelves are installed, my team will then organize and sort the non-perishables onto shelves. This will help the volunteers while packing the backpacks and allow us the ability to rotate the stock to ensure that what we are distributing is current. Do you have any questions?
I'm just going to step in real quick. Keegan is an asset with the program that we have with the backpack program, which I run with Jen Hoffner. And when we bring stuff in, which I say stuff, we're never sure what we're getting. We just have them set up on tables. So it's up to myself and hopefully National Honor Society kids. We look at the dates and everything. And Keegan brought up to me about, would you consider doing this? So we just have tables set up right now, boxes on top of boxes, and he presented to me and to Mr. Bob Brown and to Justin Stevens at the high school, the principal, his idea of making it more self-sufficient and more that we can store for what our needs are. And asking me, it's a great idea and it's going to help him out.
How many people are on your team? You said you and your team will come in. How do you become an Eagle? What does that?
Becoming an Eagle, you go through all the different ranks, being Scout, Tenderfoot, Second Class, First Class, Star, Life, and then Eagle. Each one you have to do different things like tying different knots, doing cooking related things. But for Eagle, you have to be life ranked for a certain amount of time, do an Eagle service project, which will leave a lasting impact somewhere in the community that is beneficial. Example that I know of is someone from my troop who built flower beds for the nearby the retirement home over by the high school.
Oh, okay. Okay. So you have to do a lot before you even get here to do Eagle. You have to work hard
I
before you.
have to work hard, yes.
Yeah, this is, I think this would match your criteria with helping and sustainable and long-lasting. Thank you.
You have all the supplies you need?
Yeah, I was
I am physically not allowed to get any supplies until this gets approved by council.
okay.
So you and your team, who is on there that knows how to do this? Who are you?
My team is my scout troop,
Okay,
and the project is supposed to be led and run by me.
okay.
Okay, Keegan, this is very impressive, and first I thought you were building the shelving, but you're assembling existing shelving, because you had the shelving down here, correct? Is that the shelving that we're talking about? It looked like this metal shelving things you
Yes.
put together. So you say when council approves this, then do they give you the funds for the metal
No,
shelving?
I would have to fundraise that all myself.
You're gonna raise all of that on your own. So all you're asking us is to say permission to, that's fine with us to use that space to do this, once they give you approval, basically.
Yes.
So you're not asking for any money from us or anything, you just want to know it's okay to use that space?
Yes.
Okay.
That's really good.
We have a dedicated classroom at the high school.
It's, because these things are not cheap.
It is a old art classroom by
Wood ones, I was thinking that would be really good, but still it depends on how strong they are.
Oh, for later.
Okay. All right, any more questions?
Just curious, did you get an estimate? Well, where are you gonna get these? Just curious. Because they come in all shapes and sizes, I'm just curious.
My intention is most likely Lowe's or Home Depot.
Sometimes,
Wonder if they can give you a deal.
sometimes,
Sometimes if I come in with a written letter and uniform, saying something along the lines of,
Break.
"Hey, I'm an Eagle Scout candidate, and it would be great if I had donated materials for my project." I might be able to get a donation from them, lowering the amount that I would have to raise.
Do the Eagle Scouts have some kind of nonprofit? No, because that would help.
All money that we make over what I spent goes to the beneficiary, which would be the pantry.
Well, thank you. We're going to be voting on this later on. I think it's going to be positive. So
Thank
for all
you.
your
Good luck.
hard work and coming in to speak to us this evening.
Thank you for your time this evening. It has been nice for the short time.
Thank you very much.
thanks, Keegan.
All right.
Maybe not for these kind of projects. Yeah, maybe it'll cost a little bit.
I don't even I have this.
It might be the day-to-day kind of functions.
So we have some business action items to discuss.
We had the business section and personnel actions section. So we'll start with Mike.
Thank you, Dr. Rossi. Administrative action items. Item 1, approve the Bellbridge Property Advisors to perform repairs in Monroeville Mall properties for a cost of $16,000. Item 2, approve Integra Rotary Resources Pittsburgh for a cost of $7,500. Doing repairs on the former Westinghouse Nuclear Center.
Thank you, Mike. And then Dr. Jakey's going to take the personnel tonight.
Thank you, Dr. Rossi. Motion to approve personnel items as listed. Item number 1, approve Josh Fry as a student worker at minimum wage. Item number 2, approve substitute food service worker Vijaya Sundaramurthy. Item number 3, approve the following teachers as listed: Brittany Petticord, Mia Walker, Julia Maisto. And item number 4, approve Karen Fleming as an event worker.
Second.
All right. Any questions, any discussion?
Joshua Fry, as a student worker, where would he be, what would he be working?
Stage crew.
Okay, that's fine, great.
What did she say?
Stage crew.
She said stage crew. I'll be an interpreter. Lean and whisper in my ear.
All right. Any other questions?
Loving this right now, isn't he?
My brother loves it more than my husband, but it's
Okay, so question, I don't want to get into our executive session, but this appraisal for the Westinghouse Nuclear Center, we heard what we were sort of benefiting from with the Monroeville Mall appraisal, but we didn't hear anything from,
That's because it's too early to tell.
okay,
We should know more in a month.
all right, thanks.
And the committee is going to dive a little deeper into that, the finance committee and operation. Any other questions? All right, take a vote.
Mr. Bova?
Aye.
Mrs. Burns? Aye. Mrs. Delaney?
Aye.
Mrs. McBride?
Aye.
Ms. Mungo?
Aye.
Mr. Ritter?
Aye.
Dr. Singh is absent. Mrs. Warning?
Aye.
And Ms. Boyce?
Aye.
Motion passes.
All right, and then we need minutes from a previous meeting. Motion to accept those minutes. I need a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it. Next would be financial report. Is that Mike?
Thank you. Item 6.1, approve the list of bills. Item 6.2, to approve the financial statements as listed. Item 6.3, budget transfers as listed.
Any questions there for Mike?
So,
I don't believe those are action, correct, Mike? Those are for next week. Yeah, next week.
Say action.
All right, we gotta vote on those next week.
Next week, those are next week.
It's wrong, it shouldn't say that.
sorry.
Yeah. This is not including the change order, is it?
No.
Okay, so I
That's
do have a
forward
question
on.
about one of those. All right, so moving along. Items previously tabled or carried over. Have we had any? Correct. Personnel.
Thank you, Ms. Mungo. For discussion tonight, we have several individuals, 10 individuals under item number 1, accept and approve the resignation. Item number 2, we have 5 individuals listed, approve the request for leaves of absences. Item number 3, approve to create the position of Equity and Inclusion Coordinator. Item number 4, approve the transfer of the following individuals to the positions indicated in accordance with the collective bargaining agreement. We have several listed. Item number 5, approve the addition of the following proposed supplementals at the rates specified. For A, we have for the music district-wide elementary choir director. Item B, approve to rescind the previous approval of the following individuals for listed supplemental contracts for the 23-24 school year. And item C, approve the issuance of a supplemental contract to the following individuals for the 23-24 school year. Item number 6, we also have 5 volunteers listed for discussion.
Questions?
Do we not have a varsity head coach or a crew advisor yet?
We do. We concluded the interview process for the varsity head coach last week. Dr. Rossi and I caught up on Friday. We will have it on the agenda for next Monday. And stage crew, we are in the process of getting the paperwork together for the individual who will be on for next Monday's approval.
Okay.
Hey, the esports advisor, is it the same person as it has been, or is this a new? Because talking to the son of the person that was the advisor, he said he wasn't going to be doing it again, so I'm not sure, is it the same person?
It is the same person listed, so we'll double check.
Okay.
That was
All
our
right, thanks.
understanding. Yes, thank you.
Is it okay to ask a question about the supplementals? Jack, you've been bringing up the longest time about reviewing the supplementals. What was your thought on looking at these figures?
It was brought to my attention that, as you can see, the figures range pretty dramatically from one to the other, which led us to explore how the figures came to be, which led us to a dusty binder on someone's shelf because there was an actual formula created maybe 30 years ago that had some of the strangest things, like the risk involved in the sport and whether it was inside or outside. And not only was it wonderfully arcane, no one seemed to pay attention to it anymore. So I had asked repeatedly that we sort of review these just to be consistent, or as consistent as we could be, and it seems to be a little too big to wrestle with, so here we are.
Should we be looking at that as I mean,
I think the hard part has been that every other district is in the same predicament we are. I've looked into it and reported to the board about how we haven't been able to find a rhyme or reason, so we need to reinvent the wheel on this as part of the dynamic.
going to looking at another district didn't give you a clue.
No, they all follow the same archaic formula we
The
had.
same way.
So we're all in this boat of every time a new supplemental comes up, we look at what's a comparable supplemental and say, oh, this number fits because of similarities in the rules.
And there are no standards that are out there across the board to give you some guidance.
So what I would do is probably just put everything in a pot and a time to determine how we move forward with saying, you know, this gets this and so on and so forth. But that's likely going to require everyone to have some input as to how we structure it moving forward.
I'm just surprised you can't even go to Whitfield on the sports things and say to them, do you have any guidelines or?
We could pull the other schools and see what they pay their head coaches.
I was just curious, because you keep
Yeah.
multiple
Right.
times.
They don't think all the same.
Right, they just, some of it is negotiated too, or,
Well, I could see that, sort of flying by the seat of your pants kind of approach.
The increases are negotiated.
Just a question on the state crew advisor.
Yes,
Is it prorated? Is it because it's half?
Yes.
You're in half year, okay.
yes, thank you.
Your question answered?
Yes.
Okay. I didn't.
No, I'm looking at the stage crew where they rescinded it, and it was 2371, and you look at what they're offering at the one below, which we don't have a name yet, and it's half, so that's what I was questioning. She said prorated.
Okay. Any other questions? All right, we go right along. We are at administrative resolutions.
Thank you, Dr. Rossi. Item 9.1, motion to approve policy 246, school wellness as listed. Item 9.2, motion to place the following policies as listed on 30-day display. Item 9.3, motion to approve the 24-25 high school program of studies. Item number 9.4, motion to approve the new courses as listed. Item 9.5, motion to approve the following individuals for the Comprehensive Plan Steering Committee. Item 9.6, motion to approve the following conference request. Item 9.7, motion to approve the student assembly as listed.
Any questions? I have a question about the new programs. How did you guys, I was looking at the Teacher Academy and then the Recreation, Travel, and Hospitality. How did you guys come up with the decision to, I can understand the teacher, but I was just curious how you came up with the decision on the second program?
That was brought up from the department chair at the high school in thinking about some courses that students may be interested in that can put them on a path for a pretty good career.
Okay, I didn't know if maybe there was a survey they went out to the students and they had selected it, but, okay.
Just curious, is there anything ever at Forbes on recreation, travel, hospitality? Isn't there something over there? Yes, no?
They have a pathway for that.
There is a pathway.
They have culinary, there's,
Well, that,
Yeah.
hospitality involves,
yeah. There's courses over there that may not be exactly like this.
So this is more of an intro too? And theirs is more extensive? Yeah, so there's more extensive over there. Just kidding, okay.
At 9.5, I think there was a list of people who will be on that committee.
Yes.
Did I see that? Okay, all right, and they're all excited about doing that?
Yeah,
Okay, they
and
want.
these are some
volunteer-
teachers that are being added to
Okay.
that list.
Okay, perfect. All right. Moving along.
Business, Mike?
Mike, administrative.
Thank you, Mrs. Martin. Item 10.1, motion to approve the Eagle Scout project as presented earlier. Item 10.2, motion to approve the child nutrition membership agreement as listed. Item 10.3, motion to approve the Tri-Cog Land Bank. Item 10.4, motion to approve the Gateway Middle School change orders as listed. Item 10.5, motion to approve the Eastern Area Special Schools as listed. Item 10.6, motion to approve the donations. Item 10.7, a motion to approve the attached bids.
Any questions?
Mike, I may have read this wrong. When I was going through the GMS change orders, it said something about flooring.
That was,
Did I misunderstand when I read that? Because sometimes when you're reading it.
which one, what number was it?
I can't remember which one it was, but it was talking about prepping the floor.
I think I was in the kitchen area where they had to make some changes, they had to prep the floor.
I was just curious because
Yeah.
usually when you're buying flooring, installation and prepping is part of that, So this came up after the fact, and I was just curious why.
Because they made some changes in the kitchen, they had to move some equipment around.
So when they moved the kitchen, then
Change the
Change the
flooring.
flooring.
Cost for additional flooring.
We could double check. I think it was the kiosk where
Yeah.
the electricity comes up. So we'll double check.
you understand what I'm thinking, because flooring installation usually go hand in hand. And when I read that, I thought, okay, that makes, if they had to move something and that changed the flooring, okay,
But we'll double check.
okay. Thank you.
I mean, it's not in the scheme of things, it's not a big number, but when you start getting all these change orders, it makes your ears perk up and you want to look and see, well, wait a minute, what's being thrown in here that just doesn't make sense.
It makes sense to move something, but I'm thinking if you're just in the flooring and you prep the floor, that should have been part of the initial.
Right, because I had that, yeah,
Yeah.
that's why I printed it out, so. Any other questions?
I would like to make 10.1, the Eagle Scout project, an action item.
So that's a motion.
Like to make a motion. I'll second that motion.
All right, so now it's an action item.
Gotta vote on it.
Now we're gonna vote on it.
We're going to vote to make it an action item?
And you have to say to the public, you have to say, if anyone in the public want to say anything about this? You have to give them a chance.
All right.
Seeing no public, you can move to close the vote.
Does anyone in the public want to say anything about the action item, and that's the Eagle Scout project that we heard from Keegan? All right.
Seeing none,
Seeing none,
Proceed
hearing
to
none,
vote.
we will now go ahead and proceed with the vote. Roll call.
Sure. Mrs. Burns? Aye. Mrs. Delaney?
Aye.
Mrs. McBride?
Aye.
Ms. Mungo?
Aye.
Mr. Ritter?
Aye.
Mrs. Warning?
Aye.
Ms. Boyce?
Aye.
Mr. Bova?
Ayes have it. Congratulations, Keegan.
There you are.
It's an action item.
An action item. Now we
Now you have to-
Oh, now
now
we're
comes
voting
the
on it.
formal vote.
Now here's the vote.
Okay.
I'll wait for my question.
Now, does anyone have any questions about the Keegan's project?
No, it was a general question, because I was just trying to understand when it says the type, and it says action, so I thought it was an action.
Everything's.
Yeah, we had some, we had a
But
couple
we have to vote
typos.
on each of these?
No.
We had typos.
No.
They're not really typos, it's just with the new system.
Oh, the new system.
What I'll start doing for the study session, I'll say discussion, and then for the regular meeting, I'll make them action.
Okay.
So the
Thank
ones
you.
on here that say action.
They'll all be action for next week.
Next week,
Okay.
yeah.
Yes, except for, we'll change now, the Eagle Scout will be gone.
Okay.
So now we're gonna take a vote. Does anyone have any questions?
Now, do I have to make a motion
Yes.
to approve?
You have to make a motion to approve.
Make a motion to approve the Eagle Scout project. I second.
Now take a vote.
Yay, really?
Mrs. Delaney,
Aye.
Mrs. McBride,
Aye.
Mrs. Mungo,
Aye.
Mr. Ritter,
Aye.
Mrs. Warning,
Aye.
Mrs. Boyce,
Aye.
Mr. Bova,
Aye.
Mrs. Burns.
Aye.
Congratulations, Keegan. Your project was approved.
May I say one thing about this? I just received a text message from a Gateway parent, Jeanette Beagle, who, I probably didn't pronounce that right, is offering a $100 donation toward his Eagle Scout project.
Oh, that's very nice.
Nice.
That's very nice.
double that.
And I'll second Jack Bova.
All right.
I'll add 100.
All right, we got 200 going once.
I'm going
Bruce is giving,
All right.
We don't have to do this right
Mr.
now.
Bruce Dice is giving $100.
You know what? Not
Keegan,
right
you are
now.
up to $400.
Keegan cannot take any money right now until it's.
Well, we'll
Okay.
have,
All right, just let me know when.
correct.
Okay.
And we will let everybody know where to donate and how to donate, and appreciate everybody's generosity in this program to not only help Keegan, but all of our families at Gateway that service Minerva and Pitcairn. All right, I'm done now. Thank you.
All right, well, thank you, and congratulations again, Keegan. We're excited about your project. All right, so moving right along, we are at board member, number 11, board member resolutions. All right, so we have the, sure, Mrs. Boyce, the PSBA Principles of Governance.
yeah, you want me to explain what we were attempting to do? We received, for all of us that are new school board members, information from the PSBA, the Pennsylvania School Board Association, and they suggested that they amended the Principles for Governance and Leadership, and they suggested that the school boards look at this. It talks about lead responsibly, act ethically, plan thoroughly, evaluate continuously, communicate clearly, advocate earnestly, and govern effectively. And it shows the principles we're supposed to follow. They suggested that we sign it, which we all did back on January 6th, and that we're going to, if you let them know we did this, Robin graciously laminated this one, but if we let them know we did this, then they're going to send us a huge poster that we can frame and put in here, letting our community know that we follow these principles very clearly and they understand what those principles are. So somewhere in this room, once we get that poster and mount it, we're going to have to figure out where to, I don't know, someplace everybody can see, maybe over there where the public sits, I don't know. But we'll figure it out. So anyway, that's what we're doing. We signed off on all that.
And our goal is we're gonna follow those principles. Yes, make this work.
Yeah, that's what they
Actually
say.
had a, I don't even know what I did with it. I had a fortune cookie today. And in that fortune, it said, service to many leads to greatness.
We should frame that too.
how appropriate that was for today's meeting.
Get that frame too and put it up.
Up there too.
All right, thank you, Cheryl. So you'll get that over to them, or I can do it for you. Either way.
I'll double check the instructions to see what they say. Then we have to, if we have some kind of frame floating around,
We'll have some.
It's gonna be depending on the size of it.
it's poster size, we'll find out.
Figure it out.
We'll find out. We'll work it.
Then item 11.2 is a motion to nominate Dr. Mandel Singh for the position of the Allegheny Intermediate Unit Board of Directors.
And that's where he's at tonight.
That's where he's at tonight.
All right. And then, any questions on that? Dr. Singh, okay. I think we had all talked about that before. Endorse, right?
He mentioned it, yeah.
Yeah.
We did.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, so 12, administrative and board reports. So just so everyone at home can know what we have been working on from the last time we met up to now, you'll see on the school board website, we have the committees. We have active committees. Everyone on the board is the chair of a committee. So they've been very active and working hard and having their committee meetings. So what I would like to do this evening is real quick, have each board member who is the chair of their committee announce the committee they're the chair of. And if you had a meeting, just give us some highlights, the 3 top bullet points of your meeting, just to kind of let everyone know what's going on. The reason we want to have these committee meetings is so they can dig a little deeper and bring back information that might not be something that is easy for us to handle all at once. It gives them an opportunity to kind of become an expert in a particular field and be able to bring that information back to us as a collective group. So, Jack, we'll start with you since you had your meeting earlier today.
Right, so one of my committees is safety, and we met this evening, basically the whole council or school board here. So 3 bullets, I guess, would be new metal detectors to consider, a tax relief program for volunteer firefighters, and either resumption or continuation of our partnership with the Monroeville Police Department.
Thank you. Donna?
Sure, I'm the chair of the finance committee. We had met on January 24th. Liz McBride is the other member, and we had Mike and Guy, Dr. Rossi is the administration over here, and Val Warning and John Ritter also attended. We basically did the basic overview of finance. We looked at the revenue report, and so far this year we've received $68 million of the $96 million in the budget, which considering we're only halfway through the year, I thought that was a good number, and there's no expected issues with remaining money in revenue. We did talk a lot then about the real estate taxes, including the mall revenue, as we saw on the earlier agenda about the reassessing the mall value and getting another appraisal, and that for that hearing on February 9th. And then we looked at the expenditure report. One thing we had noted was the amount of bank fees. So we're incurring anywhere between $1,200 and $1,800 a month in management fees from the bank. Not really clear exactly what the bank does for this. Mike, have you figured out?
I think it goes on a number of transactions.
Number of transactions.
That's what I could get out of it.
Okay. And so we're actually gonna talk more about the next meeting too, considering an RFP for considering changing banks and see if we can find a bank that would not charge us that amount of money per month for the number of transactions. There's multiple other banks in Monroeville that seem to be willing to do that. And last, the budget planning process. So they're working on the proposed budget now, and we will see that as a board in March, the proposed budget for the next school year. And our next meeting is February 21st.
All right, thank you. Mr. Vice President?
The Intergovernmental Committee is a group that I lead. We met informally with Eric Poach, the Deputy Mayor, brainstormed an agenda. We have yet to set a meeting, but it's going to be at the Monroeville Council, not here. The 2 topics will be the SRO and the fence. at Ramsey to help sort of guard the kids while they're playing outside recess. So that'll be our topic.
Does that fence then impact that from being a public park? Or is that, I mean, we'll close off that playground at Ramsey from public access when the kids are? During school, just during school.
Can I answer that? Because that's part of Buildings and Grounds, and we will be at Ramsey next month. We're going to walk that because Bob Brown said that was a logistics issue because people use the parking lot to access the park. So I personally want to see if anybody wants to come over and see this because I want to understand how they're going to do it. Because it has to be to protect the school, but at the same time, there has to be access. And supposedly they figured it out. So we need a written letter from the municipality saying it's their land, they're okay with what we're gonna do.
Yeah, I've been up there with my granddaughter while the kids were having the recess. So what happens is people from the community want to be there, and then these kids come out, so you have to sort of evacuate. And then people walk around the softball area, sometimes with their dogs. And so it does become sort of a safety issue because what happens if the kid wants to run out and say hi to the dog, or the dog wants to come in and say hi to the kids. So there needs to be some sort of a good barrier there that's well controlled.
We're working on it. I want to see it. I can't visualize it. He said it took him a long time to figure this one out. So I personally want to walk that, so that'll be next February. Will be
Is that when the
there.
walk will be?
Yeah,
Next
you
February.
want, I will, yeah, I'll tell you when I get to my thing about what we're doing.
Jump right to you.
Since
they're
I started,
connected,
yeah,
so.
because they're connected. Okay. Well, we are going school to school because I want to visualize this. The committee is Valerie, Leslie, and myself, and since I'm the committee chair and new to this, I want to go.
Buildings and Grounds, right?
Buildings and Grounds, I'm sorry. And Dr. Rossi and Bob Brown were there, and Susan was there, and John was on the phone. So we were at UP first. And we walked through UP. It was suggested because they have a number of items. We looked at the pre-K bathroom, wanted to see how that was going to look and impact the classroom. The lift, which has been a topic forever, got to see where that's going to go and try to get that on the agenda and get that done. And the entrance to the building, we're going to reconstruct the entrance to the building so that you will gain access to the building through the office. So that whole front would be changed around. There are 3 other new items. The sanitary drain roof and HVC for that building is also starting to be discussed. The interior, and we also discussed the other buildings, we didn't forget them. We talked about Cleveland Stewart, Evergreen, and University Park. The interior door locks are going to be changed. This eliminates the need for keys. And also the lead testing, because this was discussed before. The lead testing is happening now, and they're going building to building, sending off the lead testing, getting the results back. If anything shows up, it'll be addressed. So we will be, I'll let you know when we're finally finalized, but they're going building to building. There was also the high school. There was a review of needed projects there. The railing and bleachers at the stadium need to be addressed. And the seating in the LGI also needs to be addressed. And I have a long list from Bob Brown. There are 19 projects alone at the high school that have to be considered. So I'm not going to list them all or we'll be here all night.
That's good. The bleachers at the stadium, didn't we just rebuild the stadium like 4 years ago?
Apparently what's going to happen, if I understand the logistics, in order to correct the problem with the railings, they have to readjust and shorten the bleachers somehow. So that's why when they say bleachers, they have to, when you put the railing in, somehow that has to be
up the
up the
walkway.
walk, yeah. So somehow that has to be readjusted to make that shorter. Again, when we get to the high school, I'd sort of like to see what they mean by that. Anybody's welcome to come just so we can see what they're talking about. Sometimes it's hard to envision it until you actually see it. But I was told they have to shorten the bleachers to make
Cheryl, could I drag on what you just said there for
Yes,
a second?
please.
That is, Cheryl's the chair of the Buildings and Grounds Committee, and she's decided to rotate through all the buildings,
Correct.
the different elementary schools. So if you have an issue with a given elementary school that's in your neighborhood, you should find when that meeting's going to be and
Right.
attend that meeting so that you can talk with Cheryl and her team right there about that local issue, because you might be able to bring something up that they haven't thought of or have a solution or a suggestion or an alternative that you could offer to Cheryl. So get in touch with Cheryl or go out to the Gateway website,
Yeah.
find out when that local meeting is going to be in your area of town and attend that buildings and ground meeting.
The next one will be February 15th at Ramsey at 6 o'clock. I'm going to go a little early. Like I said, I want to see the logistics of the fencing. I'm going to go Ramsey, February 15th and 6 o'clock. There is a long list of things that we need to do. We keep adding things. Every time you walk in the building, you see something else. And so everybody's invited to attend. But as I said, February 15th at Ramsey 6, I don't know what will be after that. It's a Thursday. We're probably going to do it on Thursday. For some reason, Janet and I were looking at the calendar. Thursdays seem to be a good day, and we want to do it the Thursday before we have the study session. So
What time are you doing the walkthrough?
5:30. I just reached out to Bob Brown because
so
he's going to be.
you do know.
He said 5:30 is the walkthrough so far
On
as
that
he
same
knows.
day.
On that same day, yes.
5:30 still? No.
Not as we get into February. It won't be bad.
It's always a surprise when I
Yeah,
open
we'll
the
just,
door.
look at
Okay.
that first, since we have to get, John is going to go to the intergovernmental to try to get approval, because we don't want to move forward, even though they said okay to that fence, unless it's in writing, we don't want to proceed.
Have to look financially too, how it's gonna be broke down.
He said he had that pretty under control, but we can talk about that when we're there. Well, oh, yeah, absolutely. So we're working on that, and John, you can let us know when you talk to them.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Uh-huh.
All right, Susan?
Gateway School District Curriculum and Equity Committee meeting. We met Tuesday, January 16, 2024, 6 p.m. via Zoom. We were going to meet in person, but there were some weather concerns, so unfortunately we were not able to. The attendees and committee members, myself, Susan Delaney, Cheryl Boise, and Mondal, and superintendents were there, Dr. Rossi and Dr. Chakey, and then school board members attended, John Ritter and Valerie Warning.
And 22 Susan
Yeah, I don't think
Delaney's.
there was anybody else there. But unfortunately, the way the Zoom is set up, we had about, with total 22 attendees, but they all said Susan Delaney. Yeah, so.
There were 22 of you.
And so we don't know who was here, but there were some very interested people, and that's why I said I'm hoping the next one, I'm planning the next one to be in person. The top bullet points were issues that Dr. Chakey went over, programs of study, comprehensive review of the format, structure, content, and proposed new courses. And he did a whole presentation, which was very thorough, I thought, and gave us the idea of what it is we're looking for and what to do in both curriculum and in the equity area. No Place for Hate is a holistic school-wide approach to improving school climate, and Best Buddies is another program that's one-to-one friendships and leadership development program. And the last thing that Dr. Chakey went over was also about realignment, well, not the last, but one of them was realignment, alignment of initiatives, alignment of resources, and alignment of approach, which he showed through his PowerPoint. And then we did discuss the Gateway School District DEI coordinator, and some of the questions, there was a Q&A from the audience, and I'm not sure if we answered their questions, so we may want to be sure that we did. Question regarding No Place for Hate. Is there a pre-post test included in this program? If so, how has No Place for Hate impacted positive behavior intervention? Did we answer that?
We answered that. We did. All of the
Anybody
questions.
else feel they want any clarity on that? Okay. And a comment, one was not the question. She said, I'm happy to hear that you're hiring a DEI administrator. This has been about 15 years in the making. Thank you for caring about this. And then the third was, are there any expectations for instruction or curriculum in district priorities for equity? Did we answer that question?
Yeah, we did.
So if anybody here who wasn't there feels that we need to expand or expound on that, we can do so now. Our next in-person curriculum accurate committee meeting will be here in the boardroom Tuesday, February 13th at 6 p.m. Rain or shine, snow, sleet, or hail.
All right.
Thank
you, Susan. All right, Valerie, you're next.
Okay, I'm chair of the athletic committee, and our meeting is scheduled for Thursday, Wednesday.
When, the 24th.
24th.
Before the
It's
comprehensive.
before the comprehensive planning. So I won't know anything until after our meeting, but I did talk to Don Hall that, you know, he has a pretty good agenda that we're looking at. But I just want to bring to light that there's a lot of good programs, I guess, not programs, but teams that are taking place right now, which is the boys and girls basketball team, which both are doing well. Indoor track, swimming, boys and girls, which are doing very well, and wrestling. And one other topic I want to bring up is we have a student here at Gateway who is a 5-sport athlete, and he was recognized by WNEP 22, the Point Scholar Athlete of the Year. And that student is Blake Marsh. Throughout the fall, the Point televises high school athletic events. Scholar athletes from both schools participating in televised contests to recognize the respective scholar athletes of the week. At the end of the fall, an overall scholar athlete is chosen as the Scholar Athlete of the Year. Blake Marsh, who participates in soccer, hockey, football, tennis, and unified bocce for the Gators, was selected for this prestigious honor. Blake was awarded a $5,000 check at the ceremony that was held in the library. Blake also worked with the Special Olympics when they came to Gateway, putting together the tennis team along with recruiting his fellow teammates. And I just wanted to congratulate Blake, and I'm going to see if we can get him here just so we can all
See his face.
Yes. So congratulations, Blake. And that's it for right now.
Thank you. Leslie.
I am the chair of Personnel and Negotiations. We have our first meeting with the GEA team on February 5th. There was so many committee meetings happening in January. We were running out of days.
That's just a kind of a meet and greet though, right?
It's not an official negotiation. When Mr. Bova was president at that time, he stated, you know, the only time we see GEA and union is when we're fighting out contracts, and communication would be a lot better in quarterly meet and greet. So we're making sure that we keep up with that tradition, as it was a good idea.
All right, well, thank you. Thank you to all the committee chairs. I appreciate all the work you've been doing, and it might not take this long the next time because not every committee is mandated to have a committee meeting every month. It's as needed, so appreciate it. I guess now we have your remarks.
Sure. Mic out.
These are all fancy.
Yep. Next slide. Well, you want to see Blake's face, so there he is right there. So we just wanted to congratulate Blake. I happened to be up at the library when he got the award. He was totally surprised. His family was there. It was great to see him. I know Blake from when he was playing soccer, U8, U9. So a good kid, good family, and it was good for Blake. And he represents Gateway well. So congratulations to Blake. The next slide, Micah. We only have a couple slides. We typically haven't shown or displayed the program of studies, and so we just want to do that this year, make sure everyone's aware of it. We're trying some new things with the formatting, talk a little bit about college and career pathways, and those sorts of things. So more to come around this. This is still the beginning stages of it. Our department chairs have worked really hard to put the program together, and we're looking forward to the final product, but we have a nice solid draft for your review. Next slide. And again, we just wanted to highlight some of the college and high school offerings that we have at the high school. If the parents and our students aren't taking advantage of this, we want to make sure that they're aware of it. It's significant savings for our families. And so we continue to add those, and that's why we want to keep reminding our families that we do offer those to our students. And next slide. And then Mike, I do need or Janet, I need the lights for this one. Just want to recognize the school board. School board directors are elected to govern and make informed decisions on behalf of our public schools for the benefit of our students and communities. In honor of their time and dedication all year long, January is designated as School Director Recognition Month. As public servants, school directors devote time each month to board business. Board service is unpaid, and school directors are often motivated to pursue the role out of a desire to benefit their community. When our public schools are strong, our whole community is strengthened. This month, we recognize our school directors for their commitment and efforts. Thank you for your time and effort and everything you do for our students and families in the Gateway School District. Thank you.
So I make a motion?
One more item. Remember we talked about the lights being on during the construction at the Gateway Middle School, and we sort of tried to look into that. We thought that maybe there was an OSHA requirement where the lights needed to be on for safety reasons, even during off hours. Did we ever get a response as to whether that's an actual OSHA or whether we can sort of cut back and then turn back on during the mornings on that?
There is, and I actually did the research, and let me see if I can find the actual section, because I did respond to the citizen that had asked about that.
They don't have the capabilities right now. It's actually all on or all off.
Yeah, I was wondering.
Yeah, based off of the construction manager's recommendation is that they stay on.
Right.
Just for even in the morning, they say that it's dark. So,
I guess the resident was concerned about the cost factor.
but it's also safety and security as well. So the Monroeville police do make some rounds. We did have some vandalism a year ago, I believe it was.
So there is actually a section with OSHA. I looked it up, and I'm sorry, I can't find it in the email. I did respond to him just directly.
Okay.
And there is a section that says if there is an active construction site, that you need to have those lights on. It's not mandatory to have them on when there's no work being performed,
Okay.
but as mentioned, it's a safety issue. But I think we're gonna look into maybe if we could reduce, I don't know if we ever got an answer about
Yeah,
that.
we did. I sent you it's either all on or all off for right now.
Okay,
Until they get to that next phase.
okay.
I'm sorry.
Until they get to the next phase. Right now, they have to go breaker by breaker.
Yeah, you would have to pay like an engineer to walk around, electrical
Flip
engineer,
them off and on.
and walk around for $100 an hour for 20 minutes to turn them all on and off at night. So it's almost better to go with whatever the construction protocol is for that industry. If they always let them on, then let's just let them do their job the way they know how to do it.
Yeah, but that was a legitimate concern I felt the resident had about cost factor.
Turning lights off.
So,
Thank you.
okay. Alrighty, and there was one other report. Dr. Singh is the chair of the policy committee, and I guess there was some discussion, they had a meeting, there's some discussion around, correct me if I'm wrong, whoever sat on that committee, meeting policy around technology and security that they're looking at, so, okay, so they did have a meeting. All right, anything else from board members? All right, so now we go into an executive session.
Let's vote on adjournment.
Oh,
Did you vote on
we
adjournment?
did not.
First and a second.
I know you got that.
All right, so let's take a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, now we're gonna
You're gonna go into executive session following the adjournment of this meeting.
All right, so
Not return.
And not return.
we're gonna go into executive session
Returning to the meeting.
and
Returning.
not return to the meeting. Thank you, good night, see you next week.